All right, we are live, I think. Let me see. Let's type something in here in the text. Test 1, 2, 3. Is it coming through? Yay! There it is. I know there's like nobody here yet, but that's okay. We're just gonna hang out until people start showing up. Do I have? Don't think this is, yeah, this is totally public. Going to share this with some friends. See some people popping in. Oh, just text messages. Okay, let's let everyone on Facebook know that we're going live. But I don't want that thumbnail, I want a different one. Hey, there's some people in here. How's it going? My name is Hafiz, and I'm a bassist from Malaysia. Hey, welcome, Hafiz. I'm probably saying that wrong. But welcome. We're just gonna hang out and we're gonna do some practicing today. Give me just a couple of seconds. I tried to upload a Facebook post and let everyone know that we're going live today. But it's not playing nice. Hey, everyone. Oh, no, I shouldn't say that. That's a silly way to start your sentence. Come hang and play bass with me. That's easy. Share now. Okay, closing Facebook. No one needs that. But hey, I'm sorry, I forgot your name already. Hafiz. I don't recognize you. I think this is the first time I've had you here on a live stream. So welcome. And Terrell Langrone McClure. Hey, do me a favor. Where are you from, Terrell? Guys, do me a favor. Just introduce yourselves as you come in. I'll shout you out and where you're coming from and all that good stuff. And while I do that, hold on. Give me a second to check my bass and make sure we're in tune. Terrell, El Paso, Texas. All right. I was in El Paso a couple of months ago, earlier this year, back in April, I think. Whoops. I should have practiced before I did the practice. Terrell and Hafiz and anyone else who's chilling out in here, I got some questions for you. Is everything coming through okay? Do you hear my voice? Do you hear the bass all right? There's a little bit of a lag between you and me. So if I ask a question and then a few seconds go by before I respond to you, that's probably why. Hey, John from Mexico, welcome. Terrell says clear. Clear, I'm assuming, means everything's coming through clear. You can hear it. Awesome. Well, as the title suggests, let me double check and make sure that it's being advertised this way. Yeah, this is a practice live stream. So here's what I'm gonna do. I haven't warmed up yet today. It's only 10:30 a.m. here well, you wouldn't believe it, but it was raining cats and dogs a minute ago, and now it's sunshine. But it's a rainy day here in California, so I was supposed to head to my studio. I'm here at the house right now, but I was going to head to the bassist studios. It's about 30 minutes away from here, but my car wouldn't start this morning. So I was like, all right, well, instead of doing my live stream from the studio, I'll just do it from home. So I set everything up here, and after I do this, I got to go figure out what's wrong with the truck. Probably nothing big, but I'm not good with cars. Let's see who else we got in here. John says everything sounded good. Awesome, appreciate that. And hey, Pablo from Spain. Awesome. I haven't been to Spain before. Cullen says, let's see the new ink. He's talking about this over here. So what I'm working on at the moment is a sleeve of Edgar Allan Poe images. So we got the Fall of House of Usher and the Raven. Over here, we've been working on the Mask of the Red Death, and we just started doing the Telltale Heart. I don't know if I can get that in there. It's like a eyeball. I gotta dislocate my shoulder to get it. There's like an eyeball inside of a heart, human heart, that we still need to finish. But that's the new ink, bro. Still working on it. I'm hoping to be done. I'm hoping to be done with it. I don't know, maybe 3 more visits or something like that, but it's gonna take a little while. So I hope y'all got your base, because we're gonna do some practicing real quick. Before I get into all that stuff, I just want to let you guys know about a couple of things. Number one, if you haven't, make sure you check out the Bassist Podcast. This is a podcast that I do. Sorry, hold on, I gotta do the tuning song first. I guess I could tune silently. This is a podcast that I do every single week, and I've had some awesome guests recently. Last week, we did, I had Rufus Reed. Y'all, this is one of the most amazing podcasts I've ever done. And one of the best days of my life was getting to talk with Rufus for about an hour or two. When I was in New York a couple of weeks ago. I also did one with Dave Boonshoft, president of Aguilar. Awesome podcast also with him. That just went live a couple of days ago. And also I want to let you know about a couple of videos that just went live on my YouTube channel. One is this guy right here. I did a cover song of I Want You Back by the Jackson 5. And as you can see in the title, I did it in a minor key, and I also did it in 7. And yes, I do sing it. So you can go check that out. And on Friday, not tomorrow, but the next day, there's gonna be a gig vlog video talking about not just that song, but the whole entire show. That video was just one performance out of an entire thing. It's something called Solo Bass Night. So it's not going live tomorrow, but Friday morning, I'm gonna do a premiere here at the YouTube channel, so you can watch it with me if you want. And before we get going, I also want to say a very special thank you to iReal Pro. This is like one of the greatest applications. If you haven't heard of it before, I don't know where you've been, but this is like probably the single most important practice tool in my arsenal. I've been using iReal Pro since it was iRealBook, and then it became iRealB. I know there was some copyright problems apparently. But yeah, I've been using it for maybe 10 years, and they're finally a sponsor here at thebassist.net. So I'm gonna be using it today in our practice session, but I just wanna take a second and let you know this is an amazing app. It allows you to basically create like play along tracks with MIDI sequences, and you can change keys, you can change tempos, you can change styles, so you can practice like soloing over changes or walking over changes or improvising, doing whatever you want. It's a really cool app, so definitely go check that out at iRealPro.com. And let's just see, do we have any quick questions, anything I need to say? Colin, thank you so much. Joel says, watching from China. Nice to have you, Joel. And Priam, I love you too. Anyways, all right, so let's do some practicing, man. If you guys all got your bass out, first of all, you should get your bass out right now, because that's kind of the whole point of this. I'm gonna practice in front of you, and actually it would be great to practice alongside you. Let me just check one thing in the chat, make sure we're good. Yeah. Cool, yeah, I'm just checking my internet connection. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna start out with, actually, I'm gonna do a couple of warm-up exercises. And this is something that, this is part of a book that I wrote called The Way of the Bassist. Gosh, too many things. But I'm gonna do like a quick 10-minute warm-up routine where essentially what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play a single note. You can see they're all on C, and we're gonna step up rhythms each time. So I'm starting with 8th notes, and then triplets, 16th notes, quintuplets, sextuplets, septuplets, eventually 32nd notes, and then we're just gonna kind of work our way back down the pyramid. So essentially, what's gonna happen is you're gonna hear a single click. Right, it's gonna be really slow at like 60 BPM, and I'm just gonna play 8th notes, just for a bar, and then I'm gonna kick that in the triplets, 16th notes all the way up to 30 seconds and then back down. So grab your bass. I think this is gonna work. Hey, there we go. We can see both of us. All right. Oops. Sorry. It's gonna be a little bit loud and a little bit clunky if you can't tell. Again, I'm not at my studio because the car wouldn't start this morning. So we're making do. So I'm just gonna pick a single note, happens to be C. And I'm really focusing on the right hand here. So let's give it a shot.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Nice. Now we're not gonna go on to the next exercise. I'm gonna do that last one again, just in case I missed you on some of it. So if that was going too fast, we're gonna do it again. Okay, grab your bass, and again, it doesn't really matter what note you're playing. It can be C, it could be F, it could be G, it could be any fret, any string at all. And before we go on, let me just double check and take a look. Hey Mark, how's it going, man? If you guys have any questions at all, I'm gonna come back to this chat stream every so often. So if you're struggling, if you're like, what the hell was that? It's okay. That's what this live stream is for. I'm gonna make tons of mistakes. None of this is rehearsed. None of this is practice. I haven't even warmed up today, so I'm doing all of it right now with you. So if you need help, go ahead and let me know. I'll check back here all the time. Okay, so let's do that one more time. Same exact exercise, all right? Going from 8th notes to triplets to 16th notes, and I'll do my best to talk through it if I can, but I think I have it set so that when I start talking and playing at the same time, it kind of ducks the volume of my voice, so it's gonna kind of work against us in this case. All right, let's try that again. Any note, going from 8th notes to triplets to 16th notes, all the way up to 30 seconds, and then right back down. Here we go.
2,
starting with 8th notes.
4.
Triplets, 16th notes, quintuplets. Ah, that was 6. Here's 6tuplets, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Back up, here's 3, 4,
4, 3, 2, 1.
And again, I like to begin my practice routines usually with these types of exercises because it just gets my fingers warmed up. I did my right hand that time. Now I'm gonna do an exercise that focuses primarily on the left hand. Let me just double check. Any questions at all? No. Okay, so here's what this next exercise is gonna look like. Basically, I'm going to lay my fingers out one per fret, and I'm gonna offset them so that you can see like finger 1 and 3 are on the same string, right? And finger 2 and 4, oh geez, are also on the same string, all right? And it doesn't really matter how you offset them. I guess you could do it this way or that way. And also notice that they're spread out one finger per fret. So here's what this is gonna do. This exercise, hold on, as you can see, is focusing on fingers 1 and 3. So you can kind of ignore the the notes there. It's a lot less complicated than it actually looks. So check it out. Basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play these two strings, And again, the notes don't matter. I'm just choosing frets, 9, 10, 11, 12. But you do it down here, do it up here. Doesn't really matter. Okay, and I'm going to lift up my third finger. You can see I've left my first, my second, and my fourth fingers down, and my third finger is just lifting up and doing hammer-ons and pull-offs. And you can guess what's going to happen next. We're going to run through that same rhythm pyramid that we did before. Okay, so instead of plucking the notes with my right hand, I'm going to do all the work with my left hand. And we're going to isolate our third finger, and then we're going to isolate the second finger and the first finger. And again, this is just a way so that I can warm my left hand up, without doing anything with the right hand. And I'm going to kind of go back and forth just so I can warm both my hands up before we put them together. All right, so let's come back. Actually, we're already there. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. All right, here we go. Let's give this exercise a try. Put your fingers anywhere you want. You don't have to put them on the same frets that I do, but the higher up on the neck you go, the easier it's going to be because those frets are closer together.
2, 3.
Here we go, starting with
4.
eighth notes. Triplets. Sixteenths. Quintuplets. Sextuplets. Ah. Whew. No, that was a that was a workout for my left hand. But here's the thing. The reason why I like doing this is, again, we're straining the left hand, and now we're going to strain the right hand. And we're going to go back into the left hand, and we're going to back into the right hand. So the whole point of this is the same as like stretching at the beginning of a workout, or I don't know, those first couple of sets, or doing a warm-up lap. It's not supposed to be pretty. It's not supposed to be perfect. We're just trying to get the blood flowing here, all right? Let me just double check and see if we have any questions. Looks like we have a few. Isaac says, great lessons as always. Hi from El Paso. Thank you so much, Isaac. I appreciate that. Ivan, hello. Willkommen. All right, so let's get back to it. We're now going to work on the right hand, and as you can see, this exercise is very similar, except right hand only, right? And we're going to, instead of staying on the same note, we're going to be crossing strings each time. And the idea here is basically I'm going from my lowest string to my highest string, back down to the lowest, back up to the highest, back down to the lowest, and we're going through the rhythm pyramid, eighths, triplets, sixteenths, quintuplets, all the way up to 30 seconds, and then right back down. So pretty simple. All I'm going to do is focus on the right hand. We're going to go from, I've got a low E and a high C, so pretty much. Right, if I had a 4-string bass or a 6-string bass, it doesn't really matter. The thing that matters is every beat I'm jumping to a next adjacent string, and when I get to the end, I just come right back down. So, here we go.
2, 3, 4.
gonna get a nice little break, and we're gonna do the same exact thing as the last exercise, but instead of targeting fingers 1 and 3, now we're gonna do fingers 2 and 1, as you can see. So finger 1 and 2 on the same string,
1,
3 and 4 on the
2,
same string.
3,
Here we go.
4.
Triplets. 16th notes. Whoops. Skip the 6.
Four, three, two, one.
And the other thing that I really like about doing these types of exercises in this way is that we're only doing it a minute at a time. So you're never straining yourself that hard for that long. And also, we're working on multiple things here, not just playing scales or songs or music or whatever, but we're also working on our timing, right? Because it's hard going from quintuplets to 16th notes to triplets. In your brain, you notice like when a rhythm changes from one to the next, sometimes I miss it the first couple of notes because it's like, oh yeah, I've got to subdivide that differently or whatever. So it's also a great rhythm practice. We're going to jump back over to this right hand exercise. And now you can see I'm going to skip a string in between. So I'm going from string number 4 to 2 to 3 to 1, basically just skipping a string in between. So what that ends up looking like is I'm going to go from my E to my D to my A to G to my high C, and then so I'm just kind of like leapfrogging each time. And the idea here is before we were doing this with string crossings, now we're doing it with string crossings that aren't adjacent, and it's kind of got us jumping around the bass a little bit more. So if you got a 4-string bass, use 4 strings. If you got a 5,
1,
use 5.
2, 3,
Here we go.
4.
Triplets. 16ths. Quintuplets. Okay, not pretty, but that's okay. That's not the point. Where's my finger? It's over here. Doing the same thing now we've been doing, except now we're targeting fingers 4 and finger 2. Like this.
1, 2.
There we go.
3, 4.
right, and that's gonna do it. Do what? That's gonna do it for the warm up today. I'm gonna switch out of that and change gears because I can. So I'm gonna
One,
come back over here.
two,
Whoops. Oh my
3,
goodness.
4.
Stop. Okay, I'm making this up as I go along, as if you can't tell. So let's check it over here and see if we've got any questions, anything guys need help with. By the way, I know I've mentioned this a handful of times already, but keep in mind, you're supposed to be practicing with me right now, if you can, if you're in a place where you do have access to your bass. That's kind of the whole point of this, is to, I'm not playing polished material for you. I'm going to sound bad this whole entire time. That's kind of the point, because I'm working out, I'm practicing, and make sure when you practice at home, you kind of have the same experience, I guess. Anthony Wellington, one of my favorite bass players of all time. Sorry, my stool's tripping all over my cables. Told me once that if you don't finish your practice routine and go, man, I suck, then you didn't practice. Because that's how you should feel when you're practicing. It's kind of like if you go to the gym and you leave and you're not covered in sweat, I don't think you worked out. I don't know what you did for an hour, but you didn't break a sweat, and that's what you were there to do. So when you're practicing, make sure it's tough. It should be difficult. Your right hand should be missing notes. Your left hand should be, oh, man, I just can't do this. Exactly. That's the point. Keep doing that every day, and you're gonna notice the improvement at that point. All right, so let's see. Mark says, it's harder than it looks. It's definitely true. Yeah, MR says, ring finger is hard. Yeah, that's kind of the toughest one because it shares, veins, ligaments, I don't know, tendons, something with your other fingers. So like your thumb can move independently, but all of your other ones, you can see I'm trying to move this finger, but it's taken a little bit of my middle finger with it. And then each finger, gets more and more dependent on the ones around it. So that's the reason why I like that exercise, is because you are working, isolating those muscles individually. Isaac says, how does that strap feel? Because I'm between that strap or the Damien Duo. Both of those are made by Groove Gear. This is a really cool strap. It's fine, feels great. It's thick, padded, everything's cool. The only thing I don't like about it is that it's notched. You know what I mean? Like there's these little holes that the grommet sticks through. So right now the bass sits right around here, comfortable. Oh, stupid things in the way. Hold on. Right now the bass sits here comfortably, and I would like it about here. I mean, a centimeter or two, barely anything. But the problem is that there's not a hole there. I guess I could cut my own, but I prefer straps that allow you to put, adjust it exactly to where you want and not in one of 20 places or whatever. So that's my only gripe with this strap, but that applies to pretty much anything that, does it that way. Aaron says, not a question, but that tat is looking so good. Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. Aaron, how you doing, man? Long time no see. And Cullen, we're having a little reunion here. Aaron's a good buddy of mine. Be sure to go check him out at, Aaron, drop us a link of where you're at. But he does live streams every day. He's an awesome singer, songwriter, artist, guitar player. One of my favorites. I'm looking over here. Okay, John says, when you play the 5, 7, and 9, do you have a special digitation in your right hand? Oh, are you talking about... Okay, I understand. In that previous exercise, when I'm playing like quintuplets, septuplets, like different odd groupings, are there different fingerings? I always go 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3 each and every time. So if I was doing 5, it would start on my middle finger. So the first time the accent was with my second finger. With my index finger. Now it's my second finger again, but I'm going 2, 3, 2, 1. And now the accent is in my ring finger. So no matter what, I'm always going. trying to think of the best angle I can get it. Yeah, so I'm always going 3 2 3 1 or 2 1 2 3 2 1 2 3. But on those odd numbers, the accent would change. So you can see how the accent changed, but the notes were consistent every time. Da, 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 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 2. So for me, the way I try to do it, and the reason why I do it that way is because I think of it like running versus playing a game of hopscotch. Okay, so like if you're running, you remember hopscotch? It's that game where there's like a bunch of squares on the ground, and you gotta like skip, right foot, left foot, jump or whatever. So if you're running and I'm on my right leg, the left one comes next. And if I'm on my left leg, well, the right one comes next. I don't have to think about each individual step. I just gotta think about where am I going, what's in my way, and I'll get there. But like in a game of hopscotch, if it's like, okay, it's gotta go right foot, and then both feet at the same time, and then spin around in a circle, you know what I mean? Like if I have to think about my steps, I'm gonna screw it up, you know? So I just kind of, my hand goes, and depending on the finger, what string it's supposed to be on, sure, it doesn't really matter. I set this into motion, and then I just don't have to think about it anymore. I just think about what notes do I wanna play, or what types of things do I wanna do, and not, how do I get my right hand to do that? I don't know, it's the way I think of it. Aaron says he's eating vegan pizza in Illinois. What are you doing over there, bro? Instead of practicing with me. It's okay. It's all right. Isaac says, what would you say to a musician who suffered from amputation and is hard to play or making those exercises? I would turn you on to a fella by the name of Turn Your Phone Off. Sorry, hold on 1 second. My wife's asking me. Not important, I'll get to it later. I'm gonna drop you a name in the comments over here. Check this dude out. I can't play anything for you here on this live stream because, you know, copyright and all that stuff. Yeah, Aaron, I knew you were having Thanksgiving. That's okay. But yeah, so check that guy. His name is Bill Clements. He has only one hand, his left hand. I don't know that he was born without a right hand or if he lost it at some point, but watch that guy play, okay? After this live stream, of course, but type that guy's name in, go check him out, and I would imagine that he would have no problem doing the exercises that I just did. He's an amazing player. He's unfreaking real. It's ridiculous. But obviously, I can't speak to that. What would I tell someone who suffered from amputation? Don't know. Haven't taught one, haven't worked with one, and I don't have that issue myself. But anytime, I mean, I taught for 20-something years, one-on-one. And yeah, I had tons of students who were special needs for one reason or another. I've had students with Down syndrome, various autism spectrum. I had one student who, his fingers weren't backwards, but they didn't bend this way. They bent that way. And they were also like tethered to each other. So basically, if you bent this finger, both of them would bend together. I don't know that it was something in his joints or a neurological condition. And yeah, so I mean, like in an instrument where you're supposed to go bum, 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 but your finger goes the other way. And every time you do that, this one does it too. How do you teach someone how to play bass doing it that way? So you just get unconventional, because what is convention anyways? Screw convention. Things are only conventional because they haven't been elaborated enough against. I don't know. I don't care about the rules. So, you know, if you can't do this, well, he plays with his thumb then. You know, everything I had him do was using his thumb like it was a guitar pick, and it helped out tremendously. I had another student. Hold on, where was I going with that? Shoot, it's on the tip of my tongue, and I totally forgot about it. Oh, I had this one student, not for a not for a disability, but I had this student come in one time, just talking about the whole convention thing. So I had this student come in, and he was like, I want to learn how to play slap bass. Okay. And so I'm like, all right, sweet. Well, show me what you got. And he goes, okay, cool. This is like a 7, 8-year-old kid, right? I mean, that's not what he played, but that's how he was slapping the bass, because he heard about slap bass from his friends and he heard the sound, and that's the only way he could make it work, right? So rather than being like, here's the thing, dude, you're doing it all wrong. You're supposed to use your thumb and your pluck. And instead of that, I was like, cool. All right, let's roll with that for today. I taught him how to play some slap grooves while actually like smacking his bass. And at the end of the lesson, I was like, now here's the thing. The way you're actually supposed to do it is using your thumb. This is the way, Larry Graham and Marcus Miller and all these guys. But I'm not going to tell you to not do it your way, because your way sounded pretty cool, man. It was way more aggressive. I mean, obviously it was hard to play like on the inside strings, but I don't ever tell people you're doing it wrong. You need to do it like everyone else. If it sounds cool, especially if it's unique, and like, with this kid who just totally misunderstood what slapping meant, who am I to say that sucks or it's wrong or whatever? So I know that's pretty far off topic, but yeah, so anyone who has, like an amputee or some sort of mental, physical, any kind of, I don't know, what would you call that? Disability, handicap, whatever the correct term for it is. Yeah, we just got to get creative with how we can make that happen with your body, with your skills, with your set, with what you're working with. And if it means that, obviously, yeah, because a limb is missing, you can't do this thing, that doesn't mean you can't play. Just means we have to figure out another way to make those sounds. I've thought about it like, yeah, if I lost my right hand, what would I do? I've already got some idea for like a hook thing and a guitar pick. That's how I would play. So there's always a way around that stuff. I'm sorry, that was a long time on one topic. Aaron, love you too, bro. Have a good one. Tell everyone back home I said hi, even though none of them know me. Joel says, like Lewis Johnson. Yep. Steve, hey, how's it going, man? Isaac says, thank you so much for the answer to my question. I suffer from amputation on my pinky finger in my left hand. And like you are playing, I'm waiting from my prosthetic pinky finger. I've never played with a prosthetic finger, obviously. And I don't know anyone who does. But definitely check out Bill Clements, see what he's doing. And you know what? Here's the other thing too, man. Like Steve says, unconventional players are inspiring. And that's a really cool, I was just gonna say someone who plays the bass very unique. Oh, I forget his name, but he plays I don't know if I can take this off because I'm all wired up. Yes, I can. He plays the bass like this because he was a concert violinist, and this is a comfortable position for him. And so he's got scaled down basses, and he holds it like a violin, and it works, and he plays unbelievable. Man, who I can't think of. What else am I thinking? Bill Clements, that guy. I don't know. I'm just saying when it comes to convention versus like playing it traditionally versus untraditional, I don't care. Play the instrument, make the music, do what you can, and hopefully it's awesome. Cullen said, let's hear your thoughts about what the right feel is for rock and roll 12-bar blues in F. Because you have to learn a song that's 12-bar blues in F, rock and roll, rockabilly, don't you? Well, it depends. If it's guitar, I mean, that's one thing. It's more like rock and roll. Hey, you're not late. You're right on time. Grab a bass. We're about to do some practice. Before bass, that means, Cullen, you're trying to sound like an upright. And so you're doing a lot of these kind of walking lines. That's a bit more of a jazzy way to do it, but that's what I would do over rockabilly. Happy Thanksgiving to Lawrence. Thank you so much, man. Love the podcast. Just listened to Yannick and Rufus. Yeah, those were really, really good ones, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Isaac said, let's keep grooving and making some great music. Yeah, you and me both, man. Laborial, yep, definitely has a very unique slapping technique. Absolutely. All right, so let's get into some more practice. Here's what I want to do. I'm going to use this iRealbook app over here that I talked about in the beginning there, the sponsor of today's live stream. And so if you haven't used it before, here's the cool thing is you can kind of set up a little chord sequence. This is a 2-5-1, not in all 12 major keys. You can see we're just in the key of 7, D minor, G, C. And I can change the key to F now, or E, you know, kind of anything you want. We'll stay in C because default, it's easy. But I can change like the style of it. I can change, obviously, the tempo and some other things. So check this out. This is just gonna loop a nice little progression of D minor 7, G7, and then C major 7. And basically what I'm doing right now, I'm just kind of drilling this progression over and over and over. I'm doing it in a jazzy way because, I don't know, I just felt like working on my jazz chops today. And at the beginning of a practice session, I think it's a cool idea just to let your mind wander. In other words, okay, it stopped finally. In other words, we already did the technical, right? I worked on my left hand, my right hand separate. Maybe by this point, I've also done some chord or some scales, some arpeggios. All right, we skipped that part. But then I want to get into, I don't want to get into running drills and sequences just yet. I want to have some fun, right? So I put this on and I just kind of explore the neck. I'm doing some 3 to 9 arpeggios. I'm playing some pentatonic patterns, just kind of whatever I can do to kind of get in that zone of like, oh yeah, this is cool. This is fun. This isn't work. This isn't homework, you know? And so I think it's cool at the beginning of your practice session to give yourself 3, 4, 5 minutes just to jam around, have some fun, okay? And actually, here's something that I'm gonna try to explore today. And if you'd like to, you can do this with me. Again, this is a tenor bass, so I'm strung E through C. So if you're playing a 5-string bass at home and your notes aren't lining up with mine, that's the reason why. But obviously, the concept is identical. So we got a D minor, a G7, and then a C major 7. So we're in the key of C major. And something that I've been experimenting with lately is this idea of playing the major scale as if it was a pentatonic. All right, and I'll explain what I'm talking about. You know how pentatonic scales, if I was in the key of C, they just kind of roll off the tongue. They're so easy to play because I'm only ever playing 2 notes per string, and they just, you know what I mean? Like they're all whole steps or similar frets on similar strings. Right? These were all finger 1 to 3, 1 to 3, 1 to 3, and then finger 1 to 4, 1 to 4. They're just so repetitive, and that just kind of is what allows you to fly through them when you're playing, I don't know, any style of music also. So it's like, how can I do that with my major scales as well? So let's say starting this from D, since we're on a, where is that? D minor 7, that's my first chord right there, right? So like if I was to play a D Dorian scale, let me get over here. Actually, let me finger it this way. Right? I'm playing three fingers, that's true, but 3 notes per string typically. In a pentatonic scale, you only play 2 notes per string. So what if I just kind of looked at the outside notes of each one? Right, so that'd be a 1 to 4. And then the next string, another 1 to 4, but I'm going to do an extended fingering, so there's 3 frets in between. And then keep going. That's the same exact motion, 1 to 4 with the space in between. Same thing here. And then this one I've got to move my first finger in and go finger 1 to 4. So basically, I can play a major scale just like that. Do you see how that is pretty much the same as that, except I cut out the middle notes in each one. And before I move on, I'm just going to come over here and double check the chat and make sure you guys are all still with me. Anyone have any questions on what I just did? Does that make sense? I don't see any questions, so we must be all good. Argentina, Andreas, welcome. Isaac says, are you using your Aguilar amp or direct? I'm wearing in-ear monitors, so yeah, we're going direct into this rat's nest of cables and interface over there. But yeah, so that's, hey Sarah, welcome. But that's the reason why I'm monitoring ears and without an amp, so that way it's not loud in this room, and also it makes it easier to play along the tracks because you don't, like when I was playing to the click or with this thing over here just a second ago, you would hear my microphone picking it up. You would also hear it from the computer. It's easier to do it wearing headphones. But anyways, so that was the idea, right? Of just breaking apart this major scale, and instead of playing every note inside of it, I'm trying to treat it like a pentatonic scale, right? So like a pentatonic scale, 2 notes per string, and it's a lot of similar patterns. It's a lot of this shape right here, right? Do, 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 and then this shape, bum, 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 right? Again, just trying to think of it in terms of patterns and shapes and whatnot. So I'm just doing that same exact thing with the Dorian scale. And the cool thing is I'm still getting all 7 notes of the major scale. It's not like a pentatonic scale where, sorry, that other monitor was freaking out for a second. It's not like a pentatonic scale where I'm cutting notes out. We're still getting each note inside the scale. Do I get it before an octave? Yeah, I think I still get them before. I think we'll hit all 7 of them before you get to the octave, or an octave of the first note you started on. I don't know, that doesn't matter. And like I said, I'm still experimenting with this, so I don't really know what to do with it yet. But where it came from is I'm a big fan of Evan Marion. It's one of my favorite bass players. And he's got this very like pointy way of playing is the best way I can explain it. And I'm gonna butcher it right now trying to do it. But that just kind of sounds like an Evan Marion-esque sound. You know, he plays all these big extended fingerings and a lot of, what was I gonna do? Shoot. I'm gonna slow it down. Go slower. I gotta adjust my fingerings there. See how pretty much everything so far has been my first finger and my pinky and maybe my ring finger to help it out. I gotta use my second finger there in order to make this work. Anyways, that's just a C major scale. I don't know. So what the heck do we do with that? Well, let's see what it sounds like over this 2-5-1. What's the worst that could happen? Just gonna play some small like eighth notes. That note doesn't work. Let's try that again. I'm doing the same thing now, but in a different position. No, that was wrong. Let's try that again. And again, what I think is so cool here is I'm playing a major scale, so it's easy, but it's not, because it's all jumbled and it's got that very pointy kind of angular sound. Again, it's not something that Evan Marion would do, but like it's my interpretation of like, oh yeah, this is what that sounds like. And it's as easy as a pentatonic scale, because it's pretty much the same patterns, just like one fret this way or that way, you know? So it's actually pretty easy to do. And I think, I don't know, I'm still developing it. I'm still working on it. So I'll probably practice a little bit more on that in just a second. But let me see if you guys got any questions on this. Steve says, good info. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate that. Other scales, yeah, I guess so. I haven't done that yet, you know, but sure, you can do this with melodic minor. Obviously, you kind of already do it with pentatonic, but whole tone, I suppose. Yeah, anything else, but I haven't gotten there yet. Isaac, yes, he uses that fourth, and again, that's kind of what's so cool about it. Where is it? That's what I think is so cool about this. Is because you can just fly around on it. Let's see, if I start it from D, if I'm in the key of C and I'm starting from a D minor chord, look at that, I have 3 strings in a row where it's 1 to 4, 1 to 4, 1 to 4, with that extended fingering. So that is all fifth motion on all of those strings. So that's a really easy way to like just kind of sweep between all 6 of those notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I'm right back to where I started. It's actually kind of cool. Shoot, what was I about to do? Or over here, if I start it from F, I've got 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 4. That's 4 strings in a row where I have like the same fourth motion happening just on 2 different sets of frets, right? So like a pattern like that. Shoot. I mean, so now we're just going for licks and chops and whatnot. But still a pretty cool, fast idea that's in the key. It's the major scale. You know, none of those notes were out, but it kind of has, it sounds like I'm playing it outside, when really it's just a freaking major scale. John says, did you change the original tuning of your bass, B to G? Yeah, this is a tenor bass, E through C. So that's the reason why it's not working. My dog, yeah, he's around here. Hey, Dracula, come here. Where you at? Yeah, come here, good boy, come on. Yeah, come here. Can you see him on there? There he is. Dracula boy making, hey, come here. Put your hands up here, up. Can you do that? No? He's a sweet dog. He's a big dog. He's a shepherd boxer, about 75 pounds. So he'll tear you apart. Yeah, darling, your dog. Sarah says it's her dog. Clearly, he's mine. His name's Dracula. I named him. But anyways, so coming back over to this exercise, just to kind of rope it all in. Let me see how we doing on time. Not so bad. I'm going to stick around a little bit longer and just practice through this. What the heck am I trying to do? Sorry, I've got like 20 things open at once on this computer. All right, here we go. So I'm just going to play this progression again, just over 2-5-1, and I'm going to experiment with playing these patterns, I guess in a few different positions. I'll do it from the Dorian position right here. Oops. I'll do it from the Phrygian position starting on E. Yeah. If I get confused, I just gotta play a major scale to remind me what it is. From a Lydian position starting on F. And then starting on G, I guess this is Ionian. No, Mixolydian, sorry. So let's just kind of see what happens. I'm gonna let this loop over and over and over again. I'm just gonna improvise and try to not just play licks and shred. I wanna actually try to use this in a musical context. Because if I'm just going, it's like, sing that back to me. Exactly, it'll sound like what I just said. So don't do that. Ah. I'm not liking it so far. Actually sounded pretty cool. I'll try that again. And I'll try doing this. I'll try incorporating some pentatonic motion in it too, because it is so close to a pentatonic scale. So let's see. Let's try that again. It's too messy. Nope. Not bad. Actually, it was pretty cool right there. Okay, so here's what I keep saying. I keep going, oh, that's not so bad. That's kind of cool. I think that's important when you're improvising to latch on to ideas. You're like, oh, that was sweet. Let me try to work that a little bit more and see where that takes me. Now that I completely forgot what it was. Okay, so I'm kind of liking that. I'm gonna descend with this major scale idea. Over that D chord. I'm gonna end with something pentatonic. And when the song runs out on you, that's how you know you're done. So anyways, I've got to get going because I can't keep running. Yeah, I got to get going. I'm sorry. I've got somewhere to be at 12 and I've got a lot of stuff to clean up here. So that's like the beginning of my practice session, is getting my hands warmed up, having some fun, and then just like tackling an idea, right? And this wasn't a video lesson on like, oh, here's a cool thing you can do. Like, I don't know. This might be just a stupid idea and I'm going to throw it away in a couple of days. Or I'm going to keep refining it, keep developing it, and maybe find a little gem in there that's, I don't know, that's kind of cool. Isaac says, you like it, sounds great, and you have some homework. You and me both have some homework. But hey, before we go, I just want to say another quick thank you to iRealPro for making this episode. It's not an episode. This live stream happen. Hey, I'm actually wearing one of their shirts too. That's completely by coincidence. But that was this program that you saw me using over here, iRealPro. It's super awesome. And if you're interested, the practice exercises that we're doing at the very beginning of this live stream is from a book of mine called The Way of the Bassist. You can find it in the Bassist store by going to shop.thebassist.net, or it's included with your membership at thebassist.net. And actually, speaking of which, I do need to let you know there is a sale. Of course, everyone's got a sale going on this week because it's Black Friday and I don't know, some other things. Cyber Monday, who's counting? But you can save right now on a membership at thebassist.net. It's 50% off your first month, or 60% off your first month if you sign up for the executive membership. And I think it's 110% off your first month if you go with the unlimited. So there's 3 different levels of membership at thebassist.net. They're all on sale. So the first month is half price or more. So go check that out at thebassist.net. But hey, before I jump out, let me just see, is there any questions, anything I left out? Amber, you're very welcome. Amber, I don't even know if I'm saying that correctly. But I'll be doing these again. I'm going to try to do live streams at least 2 or 3 times a month. And I'm hoping that I'll definitely be able to do more of these practice live streams every other week or something like that in the future. So I hope you guys had fun, because I definitely did. So thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't by clicking on that button right over there. And also come hang out with me at thebassist.net by clicking on this one right down here. And new episodes of the Bassist Podcast go live each and every week. And until next time, I'll see you again here at thebassist.net. Adios, amigos.